best friends decide to do an album review podcast, and they'll call it Pajamas for Llamas too. So, welcome to Pajamas for Llamas PFL.
How you doing, man?
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going good. Hello to everyone.
Hola, everyone. Welcome to Pajamas for Llamas, our album review podcast.
Oh, we got a doozy today. We got a couple of good ones.
Oh, lay it on me, man.
Well, you're the one you chose. David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust.
Yes, our older album that we're starting off with today, because we always do an older album and a newer album, and we always start with the older album.
Yeah, so we're going to start off with a big one. This one right here could get its own show.
Yeah, it's 1972, David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
What an album title.
Yes.
Great cover, too.
Oh, yeah, it's a fantastic cover. And the back, if you have like I'm sure it's on the CD and stuff too, but if you have like the record, the back cover is pretty cool too.
Oh, yeah. It stands out. It's one of his most memorable characters too. I mean,
yes,
Ziggy Stardust character. I mean, it's a loose concept album. It's got a story to it about an alien rock star who comes down to warn humans of the oncoming doom, which brings us to the first song, 5 Years.
Yes.
Oh man, 5 Years, awesome opener. I love this song. The words, what he's describing on this song. I mean, the music's great, but really, what does this song is the story he tells. In my opinion, I mean, He starts off with the news, TV newscaster coming on saying, it's the end times. We got about 5 years left. And then he goes on to what he sees at that moment. He starts going through material things, and he starts talking about the people he sees. And I mean, he goes descriptively on and poetically on the song.
Yes, I really love this song. It's I like how it starts so quiet in a way. Like in terms of the volume of the song is very quiet. Yes. And as the song builds, the volume goes up, the more layers of instrumentation come on.
With that piano and
the strings and it builds to the him sort of belting out 5 years and just builds to this crescendo, and then it fades out with the drums.
It ends the way it starts.
Yeah.
I love that. Great song. It's got a great chorus. The words, I mean, I love how he's going and how he just starts talking about, it's kind of like where everybody remembers where they were when 9/11 happened.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is kind of like the same thing. I mean, he starts describing what he sees, what's happening around him. And I even like he adds this little thing where he sees someone who doesn't even care what's going on in the ice cream parlor and how they're just drinking milkshakes, just chilling out, not even looking like they're worried about anything. And he's like, don't you know that you were in, I bet you don't know that you were in the song talking about it, and like I said, it's just awesome how he's telling the story. It's like I don't even need a video because what he was saying was giving me a visual on this song.
I mean, it's what you're bringing up is really interesting in that that starts off with this doom saying, right? Like the end is coming, and then there's people not paying attention, so he becomes the star man. He becomes this giant rock and roll star to get their attention. Like
exactly. It's like I guess he's already, there from space. I mean, because he doesn't talk about any kind of things coming from space. I mean, that comes later. But and then he like becomes this, like you said, he becomes this rock star. This is the start of it. He's giving out the message. He's going to tell everybody what's going down. And what I found out, what's interesting about this song is actually what he came up for this song was he had a dream about his deceased father,
Oh
and he
wow.
told him that he told him you must never fly again, and that he would die in 5 years. And
Oh
this was
wow.
in his dream. So yeah, this is how he came up with the whole story for the song. And I
That's
wonder if that's how he
amazing.
came up with the whole concept.
Uh, um, there is an English musician. I'm trying to think of their name. I know Ziggy Stardust is somewhat based on him and other stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
what is that guy's name? Let me look this up real fast.
It starts with the knee, right?
It's Vince Taylor.
Oh, Vince
So
Taylor. That's not who I was thinking you were thinking
yeah,
of. Okay.
there is a British rock and roll singer. He was kind of big for a while, named Vince Taylor, and then he had some drug issues, and he had kind of a breakdown, and he started doing a deal where he referred to himself as like a cross between a god and an alien, and so that guy, and then there's this cult musician named the legendary Stardust Cowboy,
Uh-huh.
and there's a Japanese fashion designer named Kanzai Yamamoto. Those two guys also had an influence. The legendary Stardust guy, I can see where he got stuff from him, but if you ever check out that dude, it is like insane. It's just like a guy screaming over
Uh-huh.
country music or something.
Country music, screaming over country music. No, I've actually never heard of this guy. I gotta be honest with you.
It's not a great listen, but yeah.
Oh wow. No, it's always good to learn something new. I'm gonna have to
I,
check it out either
you're,
way.
you're teaching me stuff, man.
Coming down with them heavy knowledge.
Yeah,
That's
dropping the
that's part of why we
knowledge.
do this. That's part of why
Yeah.
we do this. But yeah, it's a great opener. I mean, if you're going to open up an album, especially a concept album, this is the way to go.
Yes.
I mean, it's very descriptive. It's he tells the story. You're getting the feel of the album. You're getting the feel of what he's coming across to say on this album. And I mean, it's classic David Bowie.
Yes.
I mean, even if you're not a fan of David Bowie, I don't know how you cannot like this album. If you like music at all, I mean, you should like this album. I think his voice really shines on this album.
Oh yeah.
I like all the different things and turns he does on this. A lot different than what he came out a little different in the '80s on how he, did his vocals. So right here, to me, it's like my favorite style. This is my
Yeah.
favorite album by him, also.
His vocals get deeper in the 80s. I mean, like
Yeah, he does a little more of a deeper thing.
when I do what I call the goth voice, like when I did that Sophisticated Mannequins album,
Yeah,
um,
the goth voice.
the
You're doing your Peter Murphy.
my goth voice. It is kind of
Peter
like
Murphy.
it is kind
Yeah,
of like David Bowie in a lower register kind
yeah.
kind of
Oh yeah, like I
thing.
said, like a
So
Peter Murphy style. That's what I think of.
I
Peter
mean,
Murphy in the
think of like Let's
yeah.
Dance,
Let's dance. Yeah, that's
put
well. I
on
mean,
your red
we
shoes
might
and
have to do
dance
that
the
album eventually too.
blues.
That's another great one.
Oh, David Bowie has a ton of great albums. I mean,
Oh yeah, he
especially in
does
the '70s and stuff. But yeah, so yeah, 5 years, fantastic opener, and then we come
definitely.
to Soul Love.
Soul Love. What are your thoughts on Soul Love?
I love it. I love the bass. It kind of drives the song.
Yeah,
It's another song where the layers of instrumentation kind of build up as the song goes, and love the guitar bit doing the melody at the end while Bowie's doing the la 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 la's over it.
yeah. That is one of the parts I liked of that song. I, you know how I feel about the sax. You know how I feel about the sax.
This is
I was
gonna be
gonna
your
say,
knock
okay,
on the song.
okay. I have to say, I don't mind the sax when it comes in at first. It kind of goes with the song. It goes with that rhythmic drive. I mean, he's got the bongos going. He's got that heavy bass going. It kind of has that soul feel to it.
Yes.
Uh, so I mean, it's on there. I don't know if the actual lyrics to the song go with this storyboard. Um,
Well, keep in
go ahead.
mind.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, keep in mind when he made this album, the album was not originally intended to be a concept album.
True. True. It ends
Like
up kind of being so, though.
yeah, he kind of arranged it to come off that way, like
Yeah.
post production. But yeah,
But for him actually doing that, I mean, when he kind of goes into that thing, it makes this song feel like it doesn't belong.
mm.
Now, I'm not saying it's a bad song. I like it too. But I think to me, this one is going to be how to say. I kind of feel like it should be a B-side.
Mm. I see. I didn't get. I really love the song, so I don't think.
Yeah. No, I don't hate the song. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate the song. But I mean, when you start going down the album, song for song, I thought I didn't like it as much as I liked the rest of the album. There's not a whole lot that I could say that's bad about it. I mean, I'm not, like I said, the only thing I don't like about it is that little sax solo thing that they got going. I mean, in my notes here, I go, do not like sax solo, and say boo. Chuckle. But as a whole, I mean, it's still a good song. It's still really solid. It's still really solid. I thought the horns in it were nice. I like how it's the rhythmic part of the song is actually what's driving it. That bass is kind of driving the song. So I mean, I still do like it, but I don't like that one saxophone part to the song, which is really funny because I like a lot of 80s, and sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. It just matters who's doing it and how it sounds. I guess.
Well, what about the next?
Hate mail.
Send your angry messages to @Don888. I can't
didn't
remember.
say I hated it. I said it wasn't my favorite of the album.
All saxophone players out there, be sure to.
When you get hate mail from Kenny G.
No, it's good. That dude from Lost Boys is gonna message you.
No, he has a new album.
Yeah, I know. Blood on the Ring. He says
it's the best album ever. Right? I mean, yeah. Mr. Muscles is going to come after me, tie me up, and play sax until I freak out.
He's going to play sax and gyrate in front of you. So
I still believe.
Lord, I still believe.
That's another show, bro. Maybe we'll do that one.
So what's after that? Moon Age Daydream.
Moon Age Daydream. I love this song.
Yes.
It has some crazy lyrics in it. And I have I like it a lot, but I was just wondering what he's trying to get across. I mean, he says, like, keep your electric eye on me, babe. He says, put your ray gun to my head, press your space face close to mine, love, freak out in a Moonage daydream. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The song structure is very solid, very strong. The piano they added in there is very nicely done. The music just stands on its alone on this one. But I tried to focus on some of the lyrics, like I'm an alligator, I'm a mama papa coming for you. I'm the space invader, I'll be the rock and rolling bitch for you.
There you go.
Keep your mouth shut, you're squawking like a pink monkey bird. And I'm busting my brains for the words.
We're getting how an alien rock star views things.
Yeah, I guess they have maybe on his planet they have pink monkey birds.
Possibly,
yeah. I'd like to see that.
I like how the song starts. It starts with those loud chords, like out of nowhere.
Yes,
just like burn. I thought Mick Ronson's guitar playing was really good on this song.
Oh yes.
I really liked the guitar solo towards the end with all the reverb and echo soaked wailing and
yes.
I was really way into that, especially after my Gretsch experience recently. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, sustain, yes. Uh,
Yes.
Echo
Yeah,
so
those good.
sustain.
Yeah, those guitars were. I love the way they distorted those guitars on that. Again, it has the sax that appears in the song again, but it really worked on this one. It worked for me on this one. And I believe did it have a flute? I wanted
Yes.
to say it was
It's
like
a,
a flute, but it was playing on the low end instead of the high end of it.
yes, the flute is in my notes actually. It says love the
Yes,
flute and horns in the middle section
exactly. That's
and the
exactly what I
strings
got on
coming
mine.
in on the final chorus.
I said there that sax appears again. It says flute two. It says like the horn solo, and then of course they have it over that orchestrated, strings that they got going on. That guitar solo, I love that, and they had like those soaring guitar notes on
Yeah.
the end, right over
Yeah.
that orchestrated part. And it's a way to end that song. I thought that was great.
Yes. I love this song. I love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
it was a good one. I mean, this
Oh,
album, grabs you by the balls, and then it keeps you intrigued, and you just want to keep listening to it.
for
Um,
what's it called? I feel like a lot. This whole album has a lot of catchy songs, and their songs
it does, it does.
sing along to. Even though I never know lyrics, you can still sing if you don't know the lyrics. But,
Oh well, definitely. I mean, I pick up words. Half the time I really don't even realize that I'm singing to a song. But on this one, I really kind of wanted to focus on the lyrical content because of the songs and what he's saying. A lot of times, David Bowie's got a really interesting uh, lyrics that he likes to
right.
play with and put out. So
That's
yeah,
good because we know I do not focus on the lyrics. So
before we started doing these album reviews, I never really did. Uh, like I said, when you're a metalhead and you listen to metal, half the time it doesn't matter.
right.
You could just add whatever you want, that you think that they're saying. But
Uh-huh.
with something like this, you really kind of want to see what it is he has to say, especially with the concept, and what he's putting out there. And I mean, then you get the glorious Starman,
Oh,
the
Starman.
glorious Starman.
Jesus, Starman, way up in the sky. And dun, 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 dun.
Exactly, that chorus line. I mean, all I think is glorious. It's just it just makes you want to
So,
sing.
here in my notes, it says in all caps, ah, so great. And then it says, the chorus is amazing and takes you up into space feeling like you are the Starman.
Exactly. Exactly. That song has over 50 million views
Oh,
on
wow.
YouTube. I can see that. Um, I like how he does the vocals over that acoustic guitar.
Yes.
This is one of my favorites off the album. Again, the chorus line, wonderful. And then he has that clapping over the electric guitars,
Yeah.
and then I love that.
The production on this album is really good. I feel like everything's layered so well, and
Oh
uh,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of layering on every song here. I mean, there's no duds. You know what I mean? You're not going
the
to get any filler.
maybe the sometimes the drums weren't recorded the best in some of these, but that could be because I listened to a really old version of it. I don't know, but yeah, not. I didn't say the drums were played badly; that they were recorded
No, no.
or mixed badly on some of these.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I didn't really focus on that. What I
Right.
like about this album, and I mean, you're in 4 songs in,
Yes.
and you're enjoying every moment. But what I like about this is how the bass. You can
Yeah.
hear every note that this bass does on this album. It's almost like the basses are turned up louder than the actual guitars,
Yeah.
and I love that because you usually don't get a lot of that, and that's really kind of what drives this album on this song. So I mean, top notch. It's a top notch song. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites off the album. goes along with the theme, and it kind of gives you the story
Yes.
about how he's really kind of the Starman now. You know what I mean? He's there, and he says some like the lines. He told us not to blow it because he knows it's all worthwhile. You know what I mean? It's now
Yes.
he's like he's telling the story. He's trying to get the message out there. Let the children lose it. Let the children use it. Let the children boogie. I'm
Bam,
gonna rock, and you're gonna like it.
bam, 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 bam. I like that riff. Bam, 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 bam.
Oh yeah, that's a great song, and probably listen to that one more times than I listen to the other ones.
I will tell you later what my favorite song is from this album,
All
but
right, all
when we
right.
get to it. But you know what's after this? It
Yes, I
ain't
do.
easy. It ain't easy.
Did you like the sound of the song? It kind of had a kind of this is one where it's like that southern rock sound.
Yeah, I liked. First off, I want to note I liked how Starman at the end of Starman, the sound starts kind of cutting out, like a radio's being changed, and then it segues into this song with the acoustic intro.
Yes, yeah, I
And
thought that worked really well.
it was a nice segue. And then I like how the chorus is so loud on this song with the backup singers. It ain't easy.
You know what feel I got off of this song? And
What?
it wasn't even like I was thinking that way. As soon as he opened his mouth, I had a Led Zeppelin feeling
Mm.
to the song. A little bit, like he was a little bit influenced by Led Zeppelin on this one. But
Could be.
I think he's usually the one that influences other band members. You know what I mean? And he always writes what he wants to write, and I think every album he does is completely different from the other albums. But I for some reason I just kind of got a Led Zeppelin feel on this song.
I'm like
Like Led Zeppelin could do the song.
look, all these musicians were influencing each other at that time because they're all just knocking it out of the park at that period of time. But
Oh, exactly.
you mentioned the southern rock. I did right here. I love the quiet, almost country rock harmony guitar solo at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
yeah,
does have that feel on it. I thought the song was a little too short though.
mm.
Kind of wanted to keep going. You
Of
know.
interesting. This isn't the only song on the album that he didn't write. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
I did not know that. Who wrote this one?
I should have known you were going to ask me that. Let me see. Let me see here, buddy. Ron Davies.
Oh, okay.
Ron Davies was an American songwriter and musician. He was described by CMT News at the time of his death as the family's artistic trailblazer. So he's some
Oh,
country
wow.
musician. He's a country musician from.
I had no idea. I had no
So yeah,
idea that wasn't him. How did David Bowie get a hold of that song?
I don't know. I honestly do not know.
Maybe he just liked it, and I guess he decided to do it.
But yeah,
Oh wow, no, that's pretty cool. Um, if you looked at the lyrics on this song, you realize that actually, in my opinion, he's talking about himself.
oh,
He's talking about you climb up the mountains, look over at the sea. He says then you come down to the rooftops, look over the town, and think about all the strange things circulating around. And
mm.
then he goes to it ain't easy, it ain't easy, it ain't easy to get to heaven when you're going down. But the interesting part is I don't know how much of the song are the lyrics the other guys too, or is it
Yeah.
did he write the whole thing?
I mean, that's my understanding. But I haven't heard the original version, so I couldn't tell you.
Because and then he like says satisfaction, keep me satisfied. I've got the love of a hoochie coochie woman. She's calling from inside. And see, that's why I thought he was talking about himself because he constantly he likes to
Oh,
cross dress.
yeah.
he likes to put wigs on, he likes to put makeup on. So I thought maybe in a sense, the way that was worded, he was talking about himself. She's calling from inside, trying to get to you. All the woman really wants, you can, and to give her something too. In a way, for some reason, I thought, well, and that kind of sounds like maybe he's talking about himself.
I mean, it works like with the story. So
Now, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but that's the kind of feel I got off of it when I was listening to that song. It's another great song.
Interpreting things, it ain't easy.
Exactly. Exactly. But again, solid. I thought it was a great song. Uh, so, I mean, he just keeps this going. I mean, you're into it, song 5, and then you're going to get in Lady Stardust.
Yes.
Lady Stardust. I like how he has that off-chord piano piece in the beginning, when they're playing those chords and they sound like they're a little off note on it.
Yes.
I love that. It kind of like gets you started on that song.
Did this song make you think of Elton John at all?
It's funny that you say that because I hadn't even gone all the way down yet. I was just in the beginning of my notes. I talk about the piano, and then I said the piano really takes front seat on this song. And then I got a little pretty. I say Elton John.
Yeah, the start of my notes.
I did have a feel of Elton John in the song.
Yeah, the start of my notes say an Elton John-esque ballad with fantastic vocals by Bowie, especially on the choruses.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. I thought the same thing. I thought it did have a little bit of an Elton John feel to it.
I love the way Bowie doubles his vocals, not just on this, but on the entire album.
Yeah, he does that a lot. And then he'll do the higher register on the normal part, and like in the background, he'll do a lower register.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it almost sounds like it's somebody else, but, we know Bowie's style, we know his voice. But it's pretty cool on how he does that. But this song is definitely about Bowie.
Yes.
And it's always refers to himself. It's like he's referring to himself dressing in drag. Because they did this, like this character that he comes out. He says people stared at the makeup on his face, laughed at his long black hair, his animal grace. The boy in the bright blue jeans jumped up on the stage, and the lady Stardust sang his songs of darkness and disgrace. So it's like his persona character is up on stage, which is Lady Stardust. And then he's also seeing himself do this because of the way that he's telling the story.
Yes.
I don't know if you get that same thing from it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't pay attention to the lyrics. But yeah.
Because of what it says Lady Stardust sang his songs of darkness and dismay. And he said, like saying, to watch this creature fare, boys stood up on their chairs to make their point of view. I smiled sadly for a love I could not obey. It says, and then, there's this thing about the singing the song.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, it's all there. I mean, everything's the same.
So I thought that was pretty cool that he does this a lot. And I mean, I know I've seen interviews with him where he talked about how he got made fun of a lot growing up. He was dangly. He was always weird. He always felt like he was from outer space, and weird.
Yes.
And that's what made David Bowie. I mean, he never did the same look. He always changed his look. He always changed the ideas. I mean,
yeah,
it was always pretty great that way.
You ever hear about the story about the cover of the album cover of what's that album? The Man Who Sold the World?
No.
So he had asked a friend of his who did like graphic design and stuff to come up with the album cover, and this guy came up with this kind of cartoony illustration of this like a guy hold like a security guard outside an insane asylum.
Uh-huh.
And so David Bowie at first he liked the thing a lot, but then he sort of changed his mind, and he ended up doing this photo shoot where someone designed like a dress for him, and he's like in drag with like blonde hair, and he's like sort of spread out on a couch. You've probably seen this cover before, where he's spread
Yeah.
out on a couch in this
Uh-huh.
dress. And so he wanted that to be the album cover, but the his label, the record label in the United States, they refused to use that cover, and they went with the one with the little cartoon with the guy, the security guard in front of the insane asylum.
Uh-huh.
And in England, they used the other one. And so when David Bowie came over to tour and promote this album in the United States, he was dressed in drag, and people were like, "What is this?" You know, because they hadn't seen the album cover, they didn't know. You know,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I
I
mean,
I just bring it up because it's pre Ziggy Stardust. So
oh
uh,
yeah, actually before he even moved to the United States. I think it was like in '74 when he actually moved here.
right,
So yeah, it's definitely before. But I mean, yeah, I can imagine people are like, "What the hell?" You know, it's probably a little more accepted in England, I would think, on some of that because some of the stuff that they were doing over there was already pretty out there. But yeah, it's not so used to it, I guess. Here, I don't know. I would think it'd be the other way around, but I mean, they released the cover in England with Justin Drag, while they didn't do that here.
yeah,
So I would think it's a little more accepted. And I think he does a really great vocal performance on the song.
mhm.
Uh, and it does have that Elton John feel, but yeah, it's a great song. Great song. Then you got the song Star.
Yeah. It's a catchy, sunny pop song, kind of bubblegum esque is what I wrote. It's kind of a
That's what I
bubblegum
was
pop.
thinking. My first thing is says such a fun song.
Yes,
It's like he says in the song, so inviting, so enticing. You just kind of want to just turn it up and jam it out.
the second half of this album is very kind of straight ahead like rock.
Mm.
I mean, until the last song, but it is kind of straight ahead rockish, and this kind of gets that second half going with that sort of the pace and everything. And
Oh yeah,
I love the slow breakdown at the end, and the guitar over it has this really thick tone that I really like a lot.
yeah, yeah. I noticed that too. I like that. You know what I mean? I like he says, I could fall asleep at night as a rock and roll star. I can fall in love all right as a rock and roll star.
Yes.
He's just like, just watch me now. It's kind of like he's telling everyone, yeah, I'm a rock and roll star. It also goes along with this whole story, with the Starman, his Lady Stardust, his star, the whole thing coming out on that one, and then and
Yeah.
then you got Hang On to Yourself,
Yes.
dude. All
Yes.
right, I love this song. The only qualms I have with it is I wish it was longer,
Uh.
but
Yes.
it's one of my favorites. It's got a punk feel to it.
Yes.
I It's a guitar driven song, which I like, and it makes you just want to get out of your seat and dance. I love that little short guitar solo they got, the claps they got laid over the song. It really kind of reminded me of the Ramones,
Yes.
like the New York Dolls.
I've been waiting for you to say the Ramones.
The Ramones, but which is funny because the Ramones didn't come out till about '74.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh well, the Ramones, did that. So, no, I beg to differ. I think David Bowie at least attempted it on a song before they did it. It
Look,
definitely had a Ramones feel to it.
let me show you something. That sort of thing,
Uh-huh.
which is like in nearly every Ramones song you can think of.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like it's here. Like
Yeah,
it's all over this. Like I put the guitars and bass in this song seem like a model for the Ramones to use for what they would do.
that's the same feeling that I got too, and I also saw the New York Dolls in this song.
Yeah.
That little clap thing is just like Jet Boy.
Right.
that they
Yes.
did, which that song came out a year after this album came out. So you're kind of like, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, y'all borrowed from Bowie, did you?
Yeah. I mean, someone who needs to take a lot of responsibility for this stuff is Mick Ronson, who does like the lead guitar stuff on this album.
Yeah,
He was just fantastic player. I like that catchy riff he does towards the end with Bowie singing "Come On" over it.
yeah, come on, yeah, definitely, and you can really hear the bass in that also.
Yes,
I
yeah,
mean,
like you said, you
it's
can hear the bass on this album.
yeah, it's just it's really apparent. So yeah, I mean, I got it when I first. I've heard this album before. I haven't heard it in a very long time. So when I
Yeah,
heard this song, it was kind of like hearing it for the first time because I
yes,
didn't remember it, and, which is really weird, with my punk background, and I like the punk style and type of music, but I just it was kind of like, oh man, wow, it was really refreshing to hear that,
yes, yeah.
and I love it. And then it's going into your classic Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
I love this song. It's
Ziggy.
my actual favorite song off this album.
Oh, really?
It is my favorite one, Ziggy Stardust.
I love it.
The way it goes, the way he plays it, the story he tells. I mean, the whole song.
I
And
love.
go
No,
ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like to make these notes on the views from YouTube,
Oh
which is funny to me. It's only got 27 million, while
wow.
Starman got 50 million.
Starman was in a commercial.
Uh,
Actually, although the opening, the riff to this song has been in a commercial as well, actually, but
yeah,
they've used that
yeah,
in commercials before. But yeah, Starman was in a fairly big commercial campaign, so that's why. Um,
yeah. You just when you listen to the song, you just kind of want it to keep going, and
yes.
you're kind of like, oh man, when it ends. You
The
just see,
oh no, go on.
no, go ahead.
No, you go on.
Oh no, that was it.
Psh. I was just gonna say that opening guitar riff, like, is when it kicks in, I immediately
Uh,
want to start strutting around, like pretending I'm Ziggy Stardust, strutting on a stage.
I can tell you how many probably young young kids probably did back in the day when this album comes out. But yeah, definitely, it's a great song, and I mean, he makes the reference, right away. And Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with Weird and Gilly, and then the Spiders from Mars. I mean, just
Yes.
he puts it in there. Um, it's pretty cool because it's really talking about himself,
Yeah.
and I mean, he's talking about his character, he's talking about his concept, but he's also talking about him personally. You know, he's got screwed up and yeah, screwed down hairdo, like a cat from Japan, and he can lick him by smiling. And just the way he puts out these words, man, you just love it.
Yeah, he's fantastic lyricist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Although
And it's
because I'm immature, I always laugh about the God given ass line.
I was gonna make a comment about that. I was like,
Uh,
okay,
I,
why is he? He also talks about being well hung and everything else in this
yeah,
song. So, you know,
with God given us.
you know what I love about this song?
What?
I love in this song, like towards the end of the song, making love with his ego, Ziggy sucked up into his mind like a leopard messiah.
Yeah.
Only other time and hear that, paradise. So it's really interesting because I've only heard that one other time, and I've never heard that expression before. Of course, you know which reference what I'm talking about,
Yes.
Metallica Leopard Messiah.
Yes.
So obviously they were probably inspired by that themselves. They won't make claim to it, but I've never heard that expression used otherwise.
So you heard it here first. Metallica to cover Ziggy Stardust. No, I'm joking.
They had to
That
have been inspired by it some way.
yeah, that would be interesting actually to hear them cover Ziggy Stardust. But it's
Maybe
a
back in their heyday, maybe not
it's a,
today.
It's a classic, iconic song. It's I mean, it's amazing. It's a badass song.
It is a badass song. It's a great title track.
Sorry, what I meant to say was it was a God given ass song.
God given badass song.
It's a
There
God
you go. That's
given
it.
badass song. And so
It's
yeah,
God given ass.
you go from the amazing Ziggy Stardust.
Now this is kind of off, but at the same time, I feel like I want to bring that up. Is on this song in a way. Now I'm not saying it's exactly the same. It's not the same at all. But in a way, I got that Stairway to Heaven feel to it. The way the
Oh,
song kind of builds.
the Ziggy Stardust.
Yes.
Hmm. I don't know about that.
And how it kind of picks up and kind of picks up. I'm not saying it sounds the same, but just the way that the song just kind of goes.
Yeah. Okay.
I got that thing from it. Like it kind of just picks up and it keeps going and keeps going.
It's fantastic.
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, we'll go with that.
But you know what comes
some,
after it?
oh yeah, Forget City. I thought it was really kicking out the old school rock on that one.
Yes.
Hey,
Hey
man.
man.
Yeah.
Hey man.
I'm not real sure what he's talking about on it though. He says, "Oh, don't lean on me, man, because you can't afford the ticket. I'm back on Forget City. Oh, don't lean on me, man, because you ain't gonna have time to check it." I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, but I
But
like it.
it's effing awesome. This is my favorite song on the album.
This is your favorite song. It's one of mine.
I love this song. I've always loved this song. Just I like the such a driving kind of rock song, and the chorus is so catchy. Don't lean on me, man, because you can't afford the ticket. Something suffrage. I don't know lyrics, so something suffrage. It's all
You know my Forget City.
and
It's out of sight. She's
I
all right.
I love there's a guitar solo and it's like reverb and echo soaked, and the guitar he is being doubled. So like if you listen to it with headphones, he's playing the same thing, but it's two different takes, and so you hear them on either side.
Yeah,
and that's awesome. And then my favorite part of the song, I don't know why I love this part. I always live for this part because I always turn the volume up. Is like when the song stops and he's like, "Oh, wham bam, thank you, man."
yeah. I was gonna make a comment. I actually wrote that down with the wham bam. Thank you, man. I thought he kicked out the jams on this one.
Recently, we were going to Easter. Easter travels recently, and we listened to the first Led Zeppelin album, and then we were listening to a greatest hits thing of David Bowie, and this song came on, and Stephanie and I like both did that. Oh, wham bam, thank you, man, thing at the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it sticks out. It sticks out. It's just that whole thing with the hey man and how he does that. He just kicking out the old school rock on this one. I love it.
I mean, if I was in a band of like a hobo clowns playing cover songs, I would totally do this song just to. I don't know why hobo clowns doing cover songs. It just popped in my head.
It's a new man right there. Hobo clowns covering cover songs. There you go.
The
you could do the David Bowie clown. The hobo clown named Ziggy.
Yes.
It works. It works. Yeah, it's a great jam. I mean, the only thing is you just kind of wanted to keep going. Give me another couple minutes on that song. You know what I mean? Wail it out towards the end.
Yeah, but see, it's a good thing. Like a lot of these songs, you're saying this, right? You want them to go longer.
On some of them, you kind of do. They kind of feel a little short because they're so brilliant. It's such a genius song. You just kind of want to hear it a little more.
Yeah, that's the point, is to make you like play it again and again. Like
I figure that's kind of what they go for. I mean, it's like the Beatles. You get some great songs, but they're real short.
Yeah,
kind of keep you wanting to hear more, and that's the whole thing. But Yeah, it's great. I mean, I got no qualms against this one,
That,
as I do on any of them, really.
and then we get
I
to
thought it was a
the
great song.
except for the saxophone stuff. Yeah, we get it. We get it.
Just the
That
one, just the one song with the saxophone in it. That one. The
then
other,
then
the sax sounds fine on the other ones.
we
And then
get
you
to
got
the closer, rock
the
and roll
closer.
suicide.
What a closer! Rock and roll suicide.
Yeah.
And there's some little interesting things I have on the idea for this song
Oh, go
and a
go for
little info about the actual song.
it. Lay it on
But
us.
I love how it started the acoustic guitar, and I like how he talks the 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 lyrics at first,
Hmm.
and how the song kicks in. Do you know what I mean? And how it just like it builds and it builds. And he's using a lot. I mean, of course, he's talking about the rock and roll lifestyle. And that's what he means by the rock and roll suicide.
I love the vocals on this, especially when he's kind of screaming that you're not alone. Give me your
Mm-hmm.
hand. You're wonderful.
You know, that part right there is where I have a little story on it. It was
Oh,
actually his wife at the time who was telling him to put that in there to kind of give the audience a part to participate in. You know, was saying, "Oh, give me your hands."
oh, really?
Yes, and that's why he put that in there on the end, and that's why I love how it ends that way. You know, and it's like the meaning of the song. You know, he saw suicide, the rock singer's life. You know what I mean? He burned out. He's wandering the streets. You know, he's no longer young, and he's thrown aside, discarded, sort of. You know, and so, and then at the end, you know, he just kind of like he's revived on stage. You know, like one final time. You know, it's like the ending of the song, and he's like, "Oh, give me your hands." You know how it kind of just like goes up, and it just keeps building. And you're not alone. Just turn on with me. You're not alone. Let's turn on, and be not alone. Give me your hands because you're wonderful. He's like telling the crowd, you know what I mean? Raise your hands up, cheer. I love that.
It's, I mean, it's awesome. It's
It's just awesome.
it's just awesome.
Yeah, I love how it picks up as it goes.
Oh, and I like the guitar break and near the very end, and then there's strings, and then out, like the song just ends.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I like that. So it's kind of like the end,
Yes, the end.
and so ends his Ziggy character. The end.
Dun.
It's the story of the concept. Now, did you listen to the bonus tracks that you get on the remastered version?
Okay, so I listened to the vinyl because I got this album recently on vinyl
Uh huh.
at Goodwill for like
Okay.
$2. And then later, when you mentioned you listened to the supplemental stuff, I
Hmm.
found it on YouTube. So I listened to the supplemental tunes on YouTube. Yes, John I'm Only Dancing, Velvet Golden Line, and Sweet Head.
Yes.
So
And your thoughts?
which one? Let's start with John I'm Only Dancing.
John,
'Cause
I'm only dancing. Yeah.
that was actually a single. It's not on
Yes,
the
it
album,
was.
but it was a single. There's a music video for it and everything.
Yeah, they do have a music video for it. I believe it was used on a 7-inch on
Mm,
"Hang On to Yourself,"
okay.
and that's where they released it on a single on that. So it was like on a 7-inch single, a B side with "Hang On to Yourself," and that's why when it remastered, they put that on that album.
Well, what are your thoughts on it? John, I'm only
My
dancing.
thoughts on it, I thought it kind of had kind of reminded me of Queen,
Hmm.
a crazy little thing called love. How it kind of kicks in a little style of rock there. I liked it. I liked the song. They also came out with a release what they call the sax version of that song.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
I heard that one, and it does have a lot of sax in it, but it works. It works with the way that song's constructed and how they did it. Instead of like the heavy guitar that they got, it's
Yeah.
more of a sax going with that same. style. So it worked. It worked with it. But I still like the original better.
Yeah, it's an awesome little song. It's catchy. It would have fit with the album. Like
Hmm.
it would not have been out of place at all on the album.
I agree with that. I
I
agree
do
with that. I kind of
I do feel it is more of a high end B side than an album track, but
yeah.
I did like it a lot. And I love the music video, just visually for there's those shots of Bowie's like face
Uh,
where he's in the Ziggy Stardust character and he's got like smoke blowing out of his nose and mouth with like a halo of light and like darkness behind him and
yeah, they're all wearing like that leather.
yeah, it just looks
Yeah,
cool. Like
yeah. It has that nice 12 string too.
yeah, that's true
That's the
too.
first thing that I noticed when I watched the video. Oh man, that's a nice 12 string. But and then you have like Velvet Goldmine, which actually he wrote before Starman,
Yeah.
and it got bumped by Starman. Which Starman was needed on that album, but it was actually originally written in '71 for that album, and
Uh,
they didn't end up releasing it until 1975.
Another catchy song. I like the show tune quality of the chorus. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. I feel this song would not have fit as well on the album as say John I'm Only Dancing. I feel kind of would work on the album. I feel Velvet Goldmine would be a little bit out of place,
Yeah, so maybe that's why it got bumped. But
but
I'm
it's
thinking,
perfect side.
yeah, it's a good song. And then you have Sweethead, which I
Oh my
thought was very upbeat. Uh, he was kicking it out on that song again. I
It's
would have loved to have seen that song on the album, the original.
it is kind of a banger. It's kind of another sort of straight ahead rock and roll kind of old style rock and roll song.
Hmm.
Um, his vocals are fantastic. The guitars are on point. I liked it a lot. I My understanding is the lyrical content prevented this song from being considered. Uh,
This is one of the songs that I didn't actually look at the lyrics.
I there is a lot of talk about oral sex, and there is uh, I guess some of the language may be kind of racist. There,
Ah,
there is the oral sex aspect because there's a lot of this talk about that. I mean, just look at the title. There's one part that says something about heads bobbing up and down.
I didn't. That's one of the songs I actually didn't look up because it was one of the extras. So I really kind of focused on the other ones.
Um,
I listened to these songs, but I didn't look up any lyrics on those. So that's interesting.
when I do pay attention to the lyrics,
Those are the parts you catch, right?
yeah,
All right. So basically, that's on the master. I mean, it's not off the original album. So I
yeah.
just thought it was kind of neat to kind of see those songs, learn a little bit about those because
When
I
I
actually hadn't heard those before.
yeah, my under what I read about that song, "Sweet Head," everyone, including Bowie, kind of forgot about it. Like as the years passed on, and it was never released on anything till they re-released the album, whatever remaster, might have been '97 or something,
Uh,
and it was like 30 years later, and people were like, the people putting it out found it and they put it on there and. Everyone was like, "Oh, like I've completely forgot this thing existed," and
yeah, it was the first time I actually heard it.
yeah,
So yeah, I thought it was pretty good though. I thought it was a rocking song, regardless of the content of the lyrics, which I didn't catch any of it. But but it's interesting to know, interesting to learn. Um, so in conclusion, what is your overall feel of this album?
um, so when I first listened to it for this with on listen to the vinyl, I really loved the experience, because the vinyl sounded really great, and the person that kept that vinyl in super good condition, and it just
Yeah, that was a good find, man.
it was almost like it had never been played before or something. I mean, it was just in such nice condition. It just sounded so good. Um, but I was really, in love. My initial feeling, my first gut reaction was like, this might be a 10 for me.
Hmm.
But as I reflected on it, I was like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm just getting a little carried away and stuff. So, um, just from that experience, I was maybe was getting a little carried away. So I, listened to tracks some more and stuff. I think I'm settling around a 9 out of 10 for me personally.
That's exactly what uh, I gave it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. And I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I might have given it a 10 too, but then I wasn't too jazzed about song two. Uh, but yeah, it's a solid 9, definitely. I think it's one of those albums that just stand out, and is one of those influential albums. An album that will always be top notch, in my opinion.
Maybe if I listen to it down the road in a year or two from now, it may go up or down. Who knows? I doubt it'll go down, but it may go up. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it'll go up. I thought it was really good. I still give it a pretty solid 9 out on that. Which brings us to our second album, which was the new album that I picked,
Yes. Well, it was
and Bob
Sunshine Rock
Mould Sunshine Rock.
from 2019.
Yep, February 2009, 2019.
Yep.
Um, I really lost touch about this guy pretty much after Husker Du. I know he was in a band in the '90s called Sugar, and he's done other stuff, and he's done some solo stuff, but
I
I
mean,
haven't really heard anything
if
since
you
Husker
he
Du. So this was all new to me.
he did a solo album in between Husker Du and Sugar, and then he
Uh-huh.
did Sugar, and then he did solo stuff. Of course, he's probably done a gazillion other things in there, but there's not, in my opinion, there's not that big a difference between his solo stuff and Sugar. I
Uh,
mean, they're very, it's very similar. So, uh, don't make too big a distinction about it. You can just think of Sugar as being a Bob Mold solo albums with a band name on it. So.
I got you. I got you. Um, I haven't really heard any of the Sugar stuff, so I had nothing to compare it to, really. Um, we start off with this album. I mean,
Title track.
haven't heard it. Title track, Sunshine Rock. Uh, I liked it. As soon as I started hearing the song, I was thinking, "Oh, it's going to be a fun listen."
Hmm.
A very positive feel to the song, and it's definitely something I would have liked back in the day. You know, back in high school for sure.
This album is
And
a very 90s sounding.
yeah, yeah, that's what I kind of got out of it. Kind of a I don't know, like a post punk, pop punk, uh, kind of positive sounding a song. And I thought the violins that they added into it, I was actually surprised when I heard that. I thought it was really good. Um, and then it had like this sound where it kind of sounded like kazoos. Did
Well,
you did you
I
get that feel on that part?
I think there was I don't know for certain, but I got the impression there's a lot of synth being used on this album.
Yes, but it almost sounded like they were humming on kazoos. I swear
Right.
to God, it didn't hurt the song. I thought it was great. And the thing is he did a lot of the instrumentation on this. He
Right.
did some percussion. He did all the synths. He did the layout of the string parts, the violin parts of these songs. Um, I thought it was a great start. I thought it was a fun song to listen to.
Yes. I I
Um,
I put it's kind of like Sugar with synths. Uh
mhm.
uh yeah, great sound. One thing I noted, and this will come up a lot, his vocals are buried in the mix. They buried
Yeah,
his
they are a little bit.
vocals.
You can't understand them sometimes. I
Uh,
thought it was a little too quiet.
and I mean, I don't think it hurts anything on this album, but it was something that stood out to me that his vocals are buried a lot in the mix. There's like two songs where I feel they brought it further up in the mix, and then the
Uh,
rest of the album it's like sort of buried. But that could that could be to hide, limitations as he's getting older,
I mean,
which
the
is
dude
fine.
is 58.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally understand.
I thought he didn't do too bad though, considering. I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds like he's not slowing down at all.
I mean, I actually think I mentioned this later in my notes, but I think the way he's using his voice now, he's using it better than he did like during at least during the Sugar days. I'm not going to say
Uh,
during the Husker Du stuff, but I feel like
yeah.
he's using it better than he did in the 90s where he seemed more concerned with getting like a clean vocal down.
Hmm.
And so maybe sometimes it wasn't so he's not getting so lost into the performance of the vocal.
Uh-huh.
And but here he's putting more into his vocal performance, even though they're burying it in the mix or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But he's doing more with his performance.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's doing as well as he did in Husker Du. I mean, it's pretty
Right,
much in his prime with Husker Du. I'm not too familiar with Sugar. I got to be honest. I'm gonna have to check that out later. Um, don't really remember uh, listening to Sugar
right.
before, so I mean, I can't compare the vocals on that, but I'll take your word for it on that for sure.
Don't take my word for it. That's a fool's errand. No, but yeah, it's a great opening track. Sets the tone for the rest of the album.
It
What?
really does set the tone. It's kind of like when you get the next song, the "What do you want me to do?"
Yes.
I mean, it goes right into that, and it still get that same feel.
Love the opening
Okay.
to the song. Very loud, catches your attention.
Yes, yeah, I like this one. I think I like this one better than I like Sunshine Rock.
Hmm.
Um, I was actually when I listened to this album, it's like one of those albums you could put on and do something.
Yeah,
Like whether you're I don't know folding clothes, whatever you're doing,
yeah.
you can listen to it in the background. It's
It's
just one of those albums for me. I mean, I actually had I was watching Jason X turned down while I was listening to this album. It's just one of those things that you can put on in the background. That's something that I picked up right away with it. Um, I like the next one. I thought it was pretty good. I expected someone to like be playing a tambourine or something to it. Kind of in like my head, I could see that.
on the "What Do You Want Me to Do" or the "Sunny Love."
Yeah, what you?
Okay,
Yeah, the second one.
okay. Yeah, it's a really catchy, fun song. I like the oohs and the vocals in the background.
Uh-huh.
The ooh vocals in the background of the
The
chorus.
ooh vocals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun. Like this album, like you were saying, is a very. It's kind of breezy, fun. You don't have to think about it much. It just kind of
Exactly.
it's
It's
kind of
it's
straight ahead, simple, and it's
yeah. I that's what I got out of it. I figured that the next one would be kind of in the same vein the way it was going.
yeah, sunny love
Um,
song.
yeah, Sunny Love Song on the next one. Um, it's kind of like in the same vein. I really liked it. Um, I was just thinking, I was like, wow, this dude's 58. He's not slowing down. He's kind of going. I like the solo.
Yeah,
He seems to be keeping with this whole sunny thing, sunshine and
yeah.
sunny, and love and love is in the air, and
I thought it was a smart use of guitar and synths to back up the vocal hook in the chorus.
yes, yes, I like that too. I mean, I pretty much just say that love is in the air. I'm starting to feel it. It's got a good flow. Sounds pretty decent. Um, and I was liking it so far. And then you get 30 Dozen Roses.
Yes.
In the happiness of the songs there, but if you actually pay attention to the lyrics, it's actually kind of sad
Mm.
because he's talking about how he's messed up so many times that his girlfriend won't even let him in the house anymore. His in the only way he figures he can get this better is with 30 Dozen Roses. That's how he's in the song.
Uh,
But
did this did this song make you think of Husker Du more than
it
the
did a little
first three?
bit. The distortion on the guitars, I loved the distortion on the guitars,
Well, and just the
and
guitar riff. The guitar
Yeah,
riff
and I
sounds
like the
more.
riffage. That's what I was gonna say, and I like the riffage of it. It did have a little more of a Husker Du feel to it.
Yeah.
Um, I liked it again. You know, it's kind of like you said, just the easy flowing so far. I mean, there's not so too much to these songs, but at the
Right.
same time, you know, you're still getting enjoyment out of it. You don't have to think about it too much, and and then we're going, and then this is where the album actually changes for me.
The final
This is
years.
where I actually really start kind of liking the album. The final years,
Yes.
the keyboards. I'm liking it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the keyboards in there were a nice touch. I put on my notes that said finally the album's starting to take shape. The vocals were a little different. Um, the orchestrated parts were structured well, and then the keyboards, like I said, were adding that extra texture to the song.
Uh.
And it's really weird because in a way, on some parts, his vocals kind of reminded me of David Bowie on what he was doing.
Oh.
Not like directly in a
Right.
sense, but in a way, it just like this one part that he does in the song and the way he kind of lowers the voice a little bit, and it's got a little thing going. It just reminded me of David Bowie.
Uh.
I'm not going to say it's like just like it or anything, but you know, just kind
uh
of had a little seasoning of David Bowie in there.
there is a bit of a mid to late 80s sound to the song, especially
Mm-hmm.
with the guitars are kind of have like the reverb and chorus like so like
Mm-hmm.
dripping off it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the album was actually starting to take shape here. Like before, it was kind of like he was throwing them out, you know, and it was kind of the same. And then all of a sudden, he kind of threw that in there. I thought it was a little different. And then you have Irrational Poison, which I
Yes.
thought was a nice change up. You know, I have my notes on saying I'm glad this album isn't the same the whole way through. Uh, I could see him being influenced from different people there. On this song, it's really weird. I don't know why. Sometimes my brain's just weird. It works this way. I kind of had a feel like Elvis Costello on this one.
Oh, interesting.
Um, yeah, I mean that's just like my initial listen when I was listening to it on my headphones. I just had to feel like Elvis Costello in there somewhere. It was being channeled a little bit. Backup scene worked really well. I really like that one. I like that when the orchestrated bit hits. It's very nice. Um, yeah, I like that
I
song. What were your feelings
Well,
about it?
let me read you my notes. It says totally sugar sounding tune. This album
Uh,
again just takes me back to that mid to late 90s alternative scene and being in university at the time. I guess the
mm,
buried vocals are going to be a thing the entire album. Not complaining, I think it works, but it is interesting. More guitars backing vocal melodies. Good idea again. Digging this. Rocking. Those were my notes for this song.
yeah, you didn't get a little Elvis Costello feel on that song?
No, I mean it didn't. It did not pop in my head, but I will have to re-listen to it now because
I just had it had a little bit of a feel of him there. Like not necessarily sounding exactly the same. That's not what I mean.
right,
But sometimes, you know, songs will hit certain things that just reminds me of somebody else.
right.
It just a little bit. You know, I thought, you know, I also said that with the backup singing worked really well here. Um, uh, but you know, I mean, from song five, song six, I'm really liking those a lot more than the earlier songs on the album. And then you get I Fought,
I
which is
thought
another one that I liked.
the angriest song on the album
I
and
thought
kind
that
of
was a little more of the short punk song going on there.
the Husker Duism returns.
Exactly. Uh, exactly. I thought it was good. I like that quick strum thing he does at the end of it.
Oh yeah, the
Oh
chords
man,
are
I
at
thought that
the
was
end.
killer. Yeah,
I like
I
when
kind of wanted to keep going with that.
his
It's like,
vocals when he was saying "I fought for you, I fought
yeah,
for you." Yeah,
yeah. I like that one. It's probably one of my favorites
yes, it
off the
really does
album.
stand out. Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more of that on there, but like I said, song five, six, and seven, I thought they were a little different than the previous songs, kind of shaping them a little differently. And then you get Sin King,
Sin King.
where it slows down.
Yes.
Um, I in my notes. I got digging this album, um, liking it from song five. I like how on this it kind of has a live jam sound to it. I
Hmm.
got that feel from it. I don't know if you did. I thought it was textured nicely. I thought it was adding. His vocals were a little better on this one.
Yeah, here's my notes. Sugar 90s. Oh yeah. The only difference really between 90s Bob Mould and present day Bob Mould I'm finding is he's using his voice better than he did back then. He may have sang
Mm,
with a more voice, but he seemed to be more restrained during the Sugar days than he is now. And then I said digging the melodramatic melody here, very 90s, digging it.
I
Apparently.
kind of had, yeah, I kind of had the feel of. I don't know if you listened to him a lot, but back in the '90s, Swerve Driver,
Oh, okay. Okay.
it had that kind of like just wall, a sound like he was jamming it. They were just jamming, and it had that climax of the guitars and the drums at the end. I thought
Yeah.
that was nice way to end the song.
Yes.
So yeah, that got good marks from me on that one. And
And
I
then
also like the next one, Lost Faith.
lost faith, yes.
I thought on this one, the happy love sound he had going on, kind of kind of ended on this one. He had more of this thing with like privacy rights and people using drones, and I don't know if you how you listen to that. I did the YouTube. It actually has a video for this one.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it has this whole part where they're talking in the beginning and drones are flying in. And hey, did you see he's supposed to be doing like this interview? And he felt like people were, invading his privacy. Had this drone on the outside of the window. So yeah, it was a little more of a different kind of writing on what he was saying on this one. You know, because though he's again a lot of his songs are kind of like personal little stories. On this one, it's kind of more of a political thing.
Right.
And he's saying I lost my faith in everything. Kind of strong words on how he's feeling about this.
Right. I
Yeah,
did write the chorus. I said a hopeful chorus in contrast to the dark picture being painted in the verses.
yeah. So I mean, he does have that positive. I thought this album was a really positive. Kind of
Yeah.
remind, like I said, kind of like that whole '90s thing with that. So yeah, I was getting that on that one also, but
Also,
I thought it
also,
was a little stronger on the verse.
also I noticed the vocals were less buried in this song, and the song
Hmm.
that follows it, the vocals come up front a bit more than in the mix than they do before this. Uh,
Yeah,
and the drums were really good in the final chorus. The drums really stood out in the final chorus.
yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. What about Camp Sunshine?
Oh, it's a quieter song with acoustic and clean guitars, a nice
Hmm.
change of pace, a fun little tune.
Oh yeah, very happy tune.
Yeah,
Always treat your friends with love and respect. Always be grateful. Always say thank you and please. It kind of reminded me of Circle Jerks, not in sound, but I don't know if you heard that song "Wonderful" by Circle Jerks.
I don't think so. It
Be
doesn't.
kind, say thank you, please, once in a while. It's a wonderful world we live in. Give your brother a smile. Of
Well,
course, they're doing it tongue in cheek,
that
but
that does sound familiar as you sing it.
oh yeah, of course they're doing it tongue in cheek, totally being
Right.
sarcastic assholes about it. But that's kind of when I heard that, that's what came to mind. When he says, always be grateful, always say thank you and please. It had a great message to the song. I liked it. It was a little different, a little kind of like his remembering simpler times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was refreshing.
And then you get send me a postcard.
Yes, I thought he kicked out the jams on that one a little bit.
Yep.
It kind of hasn't lost his punk touch. He's kind of showing, yeah, I still kind of got the Husker Du thing going. I can still belt it out when I want to. You know.
The vocals went back to being buried though.
Yeah, I mean that is a lot of vocals. It's that's what kind of makes the album
Yeah.
easy. You
Yeah.
really just kind of jamming out on the music.
Uh
Uh,
I noted again about takes me back to the '90s university days. This whole album just it really does
Just
take me back.
basically it's sugar times two.
Well, it just takes me back to that time period, like that
Yeah.
mid to late '90s alternative scene.
Yeah, I got the same feel to it. Um, I get that same feeling to that album also. I like I said, that's why I said I would have liked this album back in high school. You know, something I would have listened to back then for sure. What about Western Sunset?
Oh
Now
man,
I do know you like this song.
yes, I do. This is my favorite song on the album. Um,
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
it's I like the Beach Boys chorus meets '90s
Mm-hmm.
alternative rock with the great soaring synths, and I listened to this song. This is true. I listened to the song 3 times in a row. Like the first time I listened to it, I played it 3 times in a row.
Nice, nice. Did you think the vocals were buried on this one
Yeah,
also?
they're still kind of buried on this one, but uh, I mean it works. I mean I've got used to it by that point, so
Yeah, I thought it was very
yeah.
catchy, very poppy. I thought it worked pretty well. Um, kind of like I kind of like what he's saying in it. I thought that was kind of cool. Um, he's just talking about how things are and how what he remembers. Music floats in the sky, then it disappears. And it's really cool. I thought it kind of had a really good message. But overall, what would you rank this album?
It's a really fun album, which has not been our experience with the newer albums to date.
Yeah, we haven't had
We
too
haven't had,
much success
yeah,
with the new
we
albums.
haven't been too good at picking them. Me, the worst of both of us so far. Uh,
Well, the thing about the new albums is though is we're trying to pick things we haven't heard.
right.
So we can't blame ourselves if we haven't heard something. We see something that's new. Let's try this.
I will forever be apologetic for the Jessica Pratt, but
I'm sure I'll throw something worse than that in there somewhere.
but yeah, I thought this was a really fun album. I enjoyed it. I gave it 7 out of 10.
That's exactly what I gave it
Wow.
because it is something that I could listen to again.
Yeah.
It's something that like if I got some kind of chore to do or something to do around the house, work in the garage, it's something I could put on and enjoy
Yeah.
it without having to really focus on it.
Yes.
So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I listened to the album about 3 times to get the feel. I thought it got better as the more I listened to it. But I do agree it had its issues with the mix. I thought the vocals were a little too quiet. I thought they kind of got lost. I did like the added instrumentation, and I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Thank you for breaking our streak of bad newer albums.
I'm very interested in hearing what you picked this time for the new album.
Do
This,
we do that first, or I can't remember?
you know what? Let's do the old album first.
Oh,
Let's do the
really?
old album first.
Oh
Now I
my
had
god!
two albums that I was fighting myself on what to do.
Wow.
And last night I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this one because I don't know. It's kind of a selfish pick, kind of like David Bowie was for you. This one's kind of for me.
All right.
We're gonna do the Beatles, the White Album.
Oh,
I thought that'd be an interesting album to do.
wow. That is going to take a lot of
A lot of
process.
time.
Yes, that is going
I
to take a
figured
lot of
since we
time.
might not be doing the show this coming up week, that it'd give us a little time.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. So that's my pick.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You're like, and how about one of the greatest albums ever?
It's a slap in the face. How about that?
How about that, buddy?
All
Well,
right.
my choice for the newer album is "Awakened from the Tomb" by Witcher's Creed from this year, 2019.
Witcher's
Creed, yeah, like witch,
Creed. Yeah.
like witch with ERS after it.
Uh huh.
Witcher's Creed,
And what
and
was the title?
Awakened from the Tomb.
Awakened from the Tomb. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this is metal.
It is kind of like a Black Sabbathish, yes.
Oh, nice. All
I
right.
just I just listened to like a little clip of it, so I haven't heard like a full song or anything. But it does
Well,
seem
I'm
to be
definitely
very
game.
Black
It sounds
Sabbath.
like this will be fun.
When you see the album cover, you'll also think Black Sabbath. So I mean,
Nice, nice.
I was like,
All
let's
right.
let's try this.
Sounds good to me.
So yeah,
So we'll get that going for the next one. I hope everybody enjoyed this one.
yes. Thank you for listening. And we'll see y'all next time.
Next time, signing off.
Adios.
Adios.